The House of Dragons. Did the time jump hurt the show at all? We're going to talk about it here just in case if you haven't watched the show. Spoilers up ahead. Let's go. Welcome back to AsArt. My name is Nick, and I have Kyle here with me. Pecos with a 0 on Instagram. Go follow him. He's an amazing, talented artist. Check out our cool new dragon merch. Woo woo! It's Kyle's artwork. He's super talented. Go to asart.space for all the audio and video links.
2 minutes before we started recording. It's awesome. I am excited.
He's super excited. And we're going to talk about House of Dragons. By the way, we have been covering the show, reviewing the episodes and doing fun stuff with the breakdowns and stuff. We even have a Game of Thrones characters versus Lord of the Rings character battles. We've been having so much fun with this series. It's such a good show. And now we're going to talk about the time jump.
Nick, I got to ask you.
Yes.
So the title of this episode, did the time jump hurt House of the Dragon?
Yes.
I mean, what was the inspiration for this question? Is there an actual divide in the community about it? Or is this just something we're going to talk about for the sake of talking about?
So, for example, I had a lot of people confused who was who when the time jump happened. And they said they took them out of the story. And I believe we even had a comment. Oh my gosh, we forgot to read the comments in the Lord of the Rings video. Well, we're going to do that after this.
We'll do it after.
But there's even a comment too where someone liked Rings of Power more than the time jump episode. Like the most recent Rings of Power episodes. I was like, okay, that's a pretty bold claim. I mean, and it's also everyone's opinion, but I see them as on different categories completely at this point.
Careful, Nick, your bias is showing. No.
Someone else on the show, Britt, she's also commented too. It really threw her off too, and she was also mad at where they mostly just recasted like the ladies and not the dudes for the series. Where she was like, "Whoa, what's up with that?" But then now that we see another time jump, I see why they did it, because they're jumping like almost 40 years, or it feels like forever, right? It's like a 10-year jump to another 10-year jump. So it's like, so that's 20 years. Like obviously they would have to recast some people, but this is crazy. Like you would think this would not be done well during the middle of the first season of a show. And oh my gosh, I have to say it's the writing, the acting, everything comes across fine to me. It's not bugging me at all.
I mean, so I would say, did the time jump hurt Hot D? No, it didn't. So like, this is, like how I think about it is like, this is only in part a show about a group of people. Like what it's about, as the title indicates, is a story about a dynasty within a period of history.
Yeah.
Right. So like dynasties are generational and their story fits into like a sort of chronicles formula, right? So it kind of makes sense for making this time jump, right?
Yeah.
And this can be straightforward, right? So like so-and-so begat so-and-so on this date, yada, yada, right? But they are also engaging because like they talk about the deeds and the people they focus on, like what they accomplished or failed to do, right? So like history doesn't tend to remember those who accomplished nothing or weren't interesting, right? And the Targaryens are quite interesting. So
especially this story too, because this is the story, spoilers just in case, this is a story where I believe a lot of their dragons get wiped out, which is their power. And like, you know what I mean? So like this is almost like the downfall of the great house. You know what I mean? It's like slowly going down, going in a controlled crash burn. No, it's nosediving, crashing and burning. It's not controlled at all. But
we're talking Bugs Bunny World War II, crashing fighter planes. Yeah.
Dogs and cats living together. Ghostbusters.
Dogs and cats living
Dragons
together.
and humans living together. But I was shocked. So we're caught up with the most recent episode, episode 7. And it's, the funeral happens where Daemon's wife gets pushed into the sea. And that whole just couple minutes of that episode, you're getting reconnected to these characters again. And it's just, there's not even dialogue, but you kind of get everyone's motives. And it's just like, wow, they do such a good job just with building tension. And what, like this tension has to be built for this civil war to happen.
Right.
Man, they're doing such a good job with the tension building.
The estrangement is escalating exponentially right now. It's pretty nuts.
And you don't even need like a big battle or anything. That's the best part too. Like this is just happening in a room where this tension is building and stuff like that. And not to make fun of other fantasy shows that are going on right now, but the tension so far like hasn't been there with the characters really. Compared to this, like when you see tension here, or even in Game of Thrones, or even in like the Lord of the Rings, there's so much tension with Boromir in the ring, and he's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like he really has this tension, even though he's only on screen for like what 15 minutes in the Fellowship total. You kind of know already like his tension, and where other shows are struggling. Not gonna name them. Are struggling to build tension and stuff like that. But see, I'm doing better, Kyle. I'm doing better. I'm doing better.
You are. However, you did say in the last episode there are only 2 fantasy series going right now. So.
No, Willow's coming out. Oh, Willow's not out yet. Shoot.
You
okay.
It's all good.
Busted. Okay. Thank you. All right. to the volcano, Nick, with you. Okay.
No.
Throw me in. Toss me in, Kyle.
No.
But is there any other comments you want to talk about? Because it's definitely working for me.
Yeah, and I would say like the time jump also is in large part like the casting has just been great.
Oh yeah.
You know, so like this is sometimes a weak point for like shows or movies that don't execute it well, right? So like but in this case it's something that strengthens it. So like their actor switching for the time jumps share enough similarities in their looks and in their like acting that they feel plausible, right? Yeah. Like my suspension of disbelief did not even have a divot in it, right? And so
what's a really interesting point on that, they had the older actors act out the younger actors part, and the younger actors will act out the older actors' part. So they kind of knew how the other one would act it out, so they can kind of create the same character. And then they casted first the youngest character, and then they based the older character off of photographs of her when she was a kid and what she looked like, you know, closely related and stuff like that too. So
I like that.
They're really doing stuff to make that transition smooth, and you can definitely tell they're doing such a good job.
Yeah. So like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if I had a formula to summarize this, I'd say interesting setting plus engaging characters times suspension of disbelief equals effective time jumps. You know, I mean, I didn't make, you know, I'm not really good at math, but I think that's
I love that equation formula. Though. Einstein over there. The theory of. So very, very impressed with everything. Very impressed with the tension. Like if there's one word I can say with this first season is tension. I think every episode, like the one I'm like, oh, the tension was great. Oh, the tension is great in the room. Oh, the tension here. And it's so crazy too, because there's not even that much dialogue. They do such a good job of showing and not telling. And it's so present and it's so good. And that fight scene between the kids too. Oh my gosh, I was so impressed with how the kids acted. I was like, dude, this is so crazy. And then when they're trying to solve the problem with the kids in the room, I'm like, dude, these kids are so freaking good. Where do they find them?
That was the worst parent-teacher conference I've ever seen. Yeah. Like that's pretty, like, so also one thing they're doing that's great, I've noticed they've done with each time jump. So the episode before the time jump, like, and also just leading up to it, right? They establish conflict that carries over into the time jump.
Yeah.
Right. So like the agreement with Laenor and Rhaenyra.
Yes.
Right. With their marriage and stuff like that, and how they drifted apart and come back together through the events of last episode, and then just like the other, like Alicent's estrangement from Rhaenyra and that sort of stuff, and then now especially that Lord of the Flies scene with the kids basically trying to kill each other.
So good.
We know that's going to have ripples in this next time jump.
Yeah.
So it's great. They're making that connective tissue really well.
Because now he has the biggest dragon in the land, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, I love it when you got underdogs coming up from underneath and taking the trophy.
Yeah, it's so freaking good. And I'm super excited for the next episode drop. But comment down below if you like this show, if you enjoy it more than other fantasy shows. Not going to name the other fantasy show going on at the time. Or if you just really enjoyed the show for what it is. And are they doing the same thing? Because they're both prequels to the stories that we know. You know what I mean?
True.
And they're both dealing with time. One just chose to condense it and one just chose to embrace it. It's very interesting when you think about it. You know what I mean? Like one's like, no, we're going to embrace the time jump.
Yeah.
Keep it as true to the story as much as possible, where the other one's like, no, screw the story and the lore, let's just squish it together. On that note, go follow Kyle on Instagram, Pecos with a 0. He's super talented artist. Go check him out. Go check out our shirts that he designs at asart.space. Go support the channel so we can create more fun content, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.
Oh yeah, dude, that was a good point you made at the end there. I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Like both are dealing with condensing time. One of them's doing it right, you know.